Mark Jobot from San Gervasi. This is the Rorschach, Georgia update from the 13th of February, 2025. Quick summary of what's going down in Georgia. On Friday the 7th, Japanese tabloid Shukan Bunshun reported that Uta Ivanishvili, the eldest son of Bidzina Ivanishvili, recently met Temuraz Lejava, the Georgian ambassador to Japan, in Tokyo. During the meeting, Lejava was photographed handing Uta a large black bag, saying, "Don't open it here. Hope it helps you." Contents of the bag remains unknown. Uta, who's lived in Japan for over 2 years, keeps a low profile, staying out of the media spotlight. He recently bought an apartment in Tokyo for 500 million yen, which is $3.3 million US, in Tokyo, bought without a loan. The bag exchange has raised suspicions about Lejava's role and whether diplomatic channels are being used for private interests, particularly since the Ivanishvili family is under international scrutiny. Other news from the foreign press on Thursday the 6th, Thai newspaper The Nation reported on a major trafficking scheme in Georgia. The Pavana Foundation for Children and Women rescued 3 Thai women from a Chinese criminal group running an egg farm. Around 100 Thai women were tricked into going to Georgia, where they were told they'd be surrogates. The women were promised between 400 and 600,000 Thai baht, which is between 12 and 17,000 US, but instead were isolated in residential compounds. They were forced to undergo monthly egg extraction procedures for in vitro fertilization abroad. If they refused the procedures, they were threatened with prison or were asked to pay a ransom to be let go. One victim managed to contact her family, who paid about $2,100 for her release, while some women returned to Thailand through a rescue operation. Many remained in Georgia. Up next on Wednesday, the 5th, the Georgian Dream, or Kotsebi, set up a temporary parliamentary commission to investigate the activities of the United National Movement, or Kotsebi, from 2003 until 2012, during the period they were in power. The commission, which will work for 3 months with the possibility of a 6th-month extension, will evaluate the political and economic risks, among other risks. All the members of the commission will be from the Kotsebi because there is no other party in parliament. This move is likely connected to their promise to outlaw the Kotsebi after the election. But since the Kotsebi did not receive a constitutional majority, they cannot get rid of the Kotsebi directly. My dudes, get over it. In yet another attempt to weaponize the legal system against critical voices, on Monday the 10th, the General Prosecutor's Office opened a criminal investigation on charges of what they call, quote, assisting a foreign-controlled organization in hostile activities, end quote, which is strange since it's a pretty good description of what the Kotsebi do on behalf of the Kremlin in Georgia. But that's not what they're talking about. The investigation started at the request of the Kotsebi-affiliated movement United Neutral Georgia, or the not very beautiful name Ertiani Neutrali Sakardvelo, who say that for the last couple of years, foreign powers have been trying to overthrow the government through violent means. This marks a major escalation in the government's narrative about foreign-funded agents and spies allegedly trying to overthrow the ruling party. Move serves to further intimidate prominent NGOs and civil society members critical of the Kotsebi, directly threatening them with prosecution and imprisonment. On Friday the 7th, Alain Berset, the Secretary General of the Council of Europe, posted on Twitter that Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze no longer wanted to be a part of the working group on foreign agents law, also known as the Russian law, due to what he described as changing circumstances. Berset visited Georgia in December 2024, got a promise from the government to set up a working group to make changes to the controversial law. But when they spoke on Monday the 3rd, Kobakhidze told Berset that the government didn't want to participate or make changes to the law anymore. Berset expressed disappointment, brought up concerns about the rule of law, human rights, and political polarization in Georgia. The Institute of Social Research and Analysis has shared the first major political opinion survey of the year, which was conducted from the 18th to the 30th of January and had 2,000 respondents. According to the results, 62% believe the country is heading in the wrong direction, 82% considering the current situation a political crisis, 78% blaming the ruling party for it. Economic issues like high prices and unemployment, along with migration and drug use, are seen as major problems. 86% support EU integration, 74% support NATO membership. However, at the same time, over half of Georgians support neutrality. paradox might be caused by fear of provoking Russia into war. Regarding ongoing protests, 60% support them, 62% want new parliamentary elections, and 76% want freedom for the people imprisoned during the demonstrations. A month ago, we reported on a fight in an Abu Dhabi hotel when two Kotsebi members of parliament attacked a citizen who'd criticized them for betraying the country and selling it to Russia. The video of that altercation went viral on social media. All parties involved were fined by local police and allowed to return to Georgia. Story continued on Tuesday the 11th when Lasha Gabitashvili, the victim of the Abu Dhabi incident, posted a video on Facebook describing the attack. Gogi Zarkua, one of the MPs involved in the incident, denies any connection to this attack. In the original video, the members of parliament threatened Gabitashvili with revenge when he returned to Tbilisi. On Sunday the 9th, 150,000 households in Tbilisi were left without gas. Company in charge, Energy Pro, initially said that a third party damaged the central gas pipeline. The incident sparked a massive outcry on social media against the company and the city municipality. The situation looked particularly bad for the municipality as the gas shutoff affected Vaca and Sabertalo, some of the city's wealthiest and most prestigious districts. Gas supply wasn't fully restored until Wednesday, the 12th. Speculation spread on social media that the pipeline had been damaged by a developer of an apartment complex and that the wrongdoer would likely go unpunished. This idea has some credibility since Tbilisi Mayor Kaladze later said that no third party was involved in the damage and that Energy Pro's initial statement was a mistake. In some funnier news, Irakli Kobakhidze and his haircut attended the pointless and internationally ignored World Government Summit in Dubai this past week. Kotsebi seemed keen on joining any international event that can be portrayed on Imedi as meaning that they are not held in contempt by any serious country in the world, because they are held in contempt by all serious countries in the world. As an ironic turn of events, the official press release of the event mistakenly listed the Prime Minister of Georgia as Irakli Garibashvili, who left the position in January of last year and is now in opposition. On another note, over 400 workers at the Rustavi Metallurgical Plant have gone on strike in the southeastern city of Georgia. They demanded the reinstatement of colleagues fired a month ago and a 500 lari salary increase, which is about $180. The workers had previously talked to the management about their concerns and formally warned of the strike a week ago. They stressed the dangerous conditions, working with molten steel day and night without enough attention from the company. Employees argue they should receive a fair share of the profits they help generate and express frustration at being threatened with legal action if they don't return to work. Famous footballer Andriy Shevchenko, who was a teammate and friend of Tbilisi's Mayor Kaladze, revealed in an interview with sports magazine Tribuna that he is no longer a friend of Kaladze. Shevchenko expressed his support for Ukraine's President Zelensky and said, "Kaladze no longer exists for me." Kaladze, who played alongside Shevchenko at Dynamo Kyiv and AC Milan, has made controversial anti-Ukrainian statements, particularly after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He criticized President Zelensky, accusing him of serving foreign interests. Following this, Ukraine imposed sanctions on Kaladze and other Georgian leaders. Kaladze owns 2 pieces of property in Kyiv, and financial sanctions have frozen his assets and transactions in Ukraine. More sportsmen. On Sunday the 9th, Alexandre Topuria, brother of the Ultimate Fighting Championship or UFC Featherweight Championship, Ilia Topuria, made his UFC debut, winning a unanimous decision against Australian Colby Tickness. The 29-year-old won all 3 rounds. Alexandre's successful debut adds to Georgia's growing presence in the UFC, with 6 Georgian fighters currently competing, 2 of them champions of their divisions. And that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us. Big thank you to our listeners who tuned in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other platforms, especially those who helped spread the word by sharing the show with friends and family. If you want to send an episode as an MP3 file, you can download it directly from our website, rorschach.com/Georgia. The link is also available in the show notes. Thank you. Nach Homdis.